Hello, and welcome to Talk.Therapy.Heal, a dynamic and engaging show that endeavors to shatter the many stigmas surrounding mental health and therapy. Talk.Therapy.Heal is a collective of licensed counselors, therapists, and life coaches unique in areas of specialization, expertise, and experience. Through the art of curated, genuine, compassionate conversation, we get to the deep things. We are so excited you chose to begin your healing journey with us. Tune in to Talk Therapy Heal. Hello, and welcome to Talk Therapy Heal, a dynamic and engaging show where we, the collective, come together to talk about life's challenges, tests, and struggles. And we also give you some strategies, tips, and tools on how to heal. Join us for this episode.
Hi, I'm Kenya.
Hey, I'm Rachel.
Hey, I'm Larisha.
Hey, I'm Nikki.
Hey, and I'm your girl, Shan. So on this episode of Talk Therapy Heal, we're going to continue on in our relationship series. This one is titled The Importance of Relationships. The importance. So last episode spoke about me, myself, and I, and the importance of connecting with oneself and being in tune with oneself. But this one is speaking about connecting with others.
Mm-hmm. That importance. So, we got some definitions.
We
for
have
that.
definitions.
Yeah. Okay, so it means the state of being connected by blood or marriage. And it also means the state in which two or more people or groups regard and behave towards each other.
Mm.
Okay. So why is this important? Why should we talk about relationships and relating? I'm gonna start off with I feel like the importance of it helps you to, I guess, with the approach of appreciating and being intentional about a thing, like just the importance of relating to someone else or having that connection. I feel like it's how we grow.
Mm.
It's how we I don't know. I don't know why my words are escaping me right now, but I just see growth. Like I can't grow, or I can grow if I know me individually, but I grow even more when I have someone else with me, connected to me.
Mm.
Kind of like we always say that iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
If I am wanting to grow, how will I know that things that I'm doing needs to what's the word I'm looking for? Needs to go to another level if I don't have anybody holding me accountable, if you will. Like somebody kind of, I see it in the sense of like you rubbing up against me,
Right.
which makes me uncomfortable with where I am and kind of forces me to do something different.
Support, accountability partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not too off with
No,
what
you're
I'm
not
I'm
off.
saying.
I would just say that we are created for connection.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And the way in which we connect, you know what I mean, is so important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The way in which we connect is through the relationships that we have.
Yeah.
And when you think about relationships, it's, if I could say it, it's definitely layered, but it's like the relationship emotionally, the relationship physically,
Absolutely.
the relationship mentally, the relationship, all of that is contained in the relationship that we have with others. So it's a layered. And so we're like instinctively created to connect. And when things don't happen, well, that's a whole other show. But when things don't happen appropriately in the relationship, or when there's a breach in the relationship, or there's a brokenness in the relationship, it causes dysregulation within us. So I feel like if we didn't have relationships, where would we be?
Absolutely.
What would we be doing? Because just think about it. Like if we take it back to like grade school science, we learn about like the genus and the phylum and the species and the like everything. So it's a system.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? Everything is connected
Mhm.
to everything. But relationally, we are created for connection.
Absolutely. And I like what you said, Larissa, and you too, Nikki, about the connected piece. And what I think of when I think of relationships is almost like a power strip. That growth that you talk about. If someone doesn't have enough power for their phone, what do we always say? Here, you can use my charger. That's connection so that that person gets what they need as well. So I see how you're talking about how things feed into one another. But with relationships, it teaches us about the good, the bad, the ugly. It strengthens us. We learn from what other people have did and how that affected us and how we make our choices in life. So I think when we talk about the importance of connection, we have to first understand what is our part in there. What are we connected to? And then how do we stay connected, especially in relationships? Because right now, we understand that the enemy is after all types of relationships, especially the institution of marriage. And so sometimes we have to ask ourselves a question: what does a healthy relationship really look like?
Yeah. So you said it. You said it. I was thinking about the ecosystem, right? And so the definition is a community of living organisms, and they're interacting with each other within a specific area, forming a complex system where energy flows and nutrient cycles through all components. So if I'm thinking about like my daughter, like science class and how water works, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's important because it gives us life.
Mhm.
Relationships gives us life.
I think she hit the nail on the head right there. Yeah.
Wow.
I know for me now, I'm listening to what y'all saying, but I may be jumping, and I hope I'm not. But I'm listening to what y'all saying. But it's a question, a burning question I have. Do y'all mind me asking this burning
No,
question?
go ahead.
So we're speaking about the importance of relationships. Why do you all think there are not healthy relationships? Like, what is the struggle like in our day and time now as to why people are not relating and they're choosing cutoff spirits and all the cliches that we had in the last couple of years? What would you say? To try to, and I ask this question so people can kind of see, engage, and get an idea of where they are.
I don't think people fully understand the importance of relationships and what it does. How she talked about the community and how it builds and how we're supposed to be really all interacting and working with one another. And I think the bigger issue is that what has been done in the past has produced what we see right now. Because my relationships with certain individuals didn't turn out in a positive way, now I cut myself off from that. I don't trust that, so I would no longer do that. And a good example is this: where the small town that I came from, there were times when I stayed after school a little bit too late for a track, basketball, and I would try to walk 4 miles. No big deal. I did it all the time. But during those days and times, the guy would come by and say, "Hey, ain't you that King boy? Where you going?" "I'm going back down the Nape." "Man, get in the truck. And they take you down there. It's no issue. You can't do that now because of things that have been done, children missing. So now we change our worldview. We change our outlook on how we think things should go and what we need to avoid. And because of some of those things, we don't bond together anymore. We pull ourselves away from it.
So what I hear you say in answering your questions, why don't people have those relationships? Because it's what happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened
Absolutely.
to where now you have a different worldview.
Mm.
You have a different view about people, yourself, and everything around you.
Absolutely.
And so it makes it difficult for you to have that connection with someone else because something shifted.
Absolutely.
So I think if we can understand what is shifted for us, then maybe we won't have the cutoff spirit,
Mm-hmm.
right? We will dig a little bit deeper into actually understanding, why am I like this now?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
What happened?
Mm-hmm.
You know what, y'all? I think, and listening to y'all, the question is definitely answered. I remember having a conversation with an individual, and we were speaking about relationships, right? And when I was asked the question, then 'cause it just brought back to my remembrance, I said that I feel, and you all, I'm not always right. Could not be right in this. Broken trust.
Yes. Hmm.
And then I got argued. No, no, I don't think it's broken trust. And then whatever they said, it kind of, and I'm like, you're actually making my point. So that's what I hear you say, and that's what I heard Kenya say. What happened before,
Hmm.
and because of what happened before, we're not having those relationships, but broken trust. So I think the importance of relationships is very important. So would it be fair to say that we need to ensure that trust is a key factor in not only creating but maintaining those relationships? Would you say that?
I would say yes, trust, but I want to go back kind of to the basic. You gave the definition of what relationship look like or what it is.
Hmm.
I feel like we have to understand what the purpose of a relationship is.
Mhm.
Okay.
What is its purpose? Um, is it for companionship? Is it for growth? Is it for support? Is it for learning? And I think that's where I was going in the beginning, when I said about the whole growth aspect of it. Is at first I'm like, okay, Nikki, how are you? I'm hearing y'all talk. I'm like, how what you said, is it really fitting into the importance of relationships? But then it hit me like, okay, you got to go back to what's its purpose. Why should I have a relationship before I even decide that it is important? What is its purpose? What is it going to serve behind it? And so when we ask ourselves, like, what is it, the purpose behind it? That's where I went with the appreciation and attention. So recognizing the purpose behind each relationship has helps us approach it with appreciation and intention. So if I can understand why I need to be in this marriage, or why I need to be friends with Larisha, or why I need to have a mentor or be in a mentorship program or anything like that, what is its purpose for me? How we understand that is, you ask the question, what do I bring to the relationship, and then what does it bring to me?
Mm.
So if the purpose of being in friendship with Larisha, I have to be able to determine what can I offer Larisha and what will I receive from Larisha. If there's no give and take, then why are we relating? And maybe that goes back to why people have the cutoff spirit, if you will, because they don't see the value. There's no value. There's no value given, and there's no value added.
Mhm.
So then I cut it off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe I might be on like a tangent, but you shared that the end state was life.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. That's the
So
purpose
the
of it.
purpose
Is
is
life.
life.
Absolutely. That's good.
So like what does that look like? Living life, walking in life, understanding life, being next to, with, walking alongside, you know what I mean, those that hurt, experience trauma,
Mm-hmm.
experience good things, you know what I mean? Like life, like
Mm-hmm.
life.
And that makes a lot of sense. Because in the area that I've worked in the past with suicide prevention, that's one of the things that we always said that was very important was connectedness, relationship with individuals. And when you're not connected, it takes away your life in a sense. People will say, there's no emotions for me to share. No one loves me. No one spends time with me. So why even be here? But when individuals are connected, now they feel a sense of belonging. Somebody cares about me. Maybe I am loved. And that makes the difference in pointing towards life. So I could definitely agree with that.
Yes, definitely. When you talk about the whole suicide piece of it, or the connectedness of it, and I feel like the reason why people don't feel that is because so many relationships are transactional.
Yes.
Wow.
What can I get?
Mm-hmm.
What can you give? There's no, it's like a sell and buy, or buy and sell type of
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it. It's transactional. What can you do for me? It's never what can I do for you. And remember, I said for us to be connected in a friendship, I have to offer you something and receive something. I don't know if that would be more I don't think that's transactional. It sounds transactional, but I feel like there's a deeper thing
Yeah.
with that piece of it, because if I constantly give and I'm never on the receiving end for you, is it a relationship?
Mm.
It is, but a broken
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Y'all cutting up in here.
Listen, I know y'all going so deep. Me and Rachel giving out. Like,
I'm like,
wow.
you have so to gauge.
Mhm.
Am I giving you life or death?
Ooh. You know I gotta take my church
Yeah.
notes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's how we can gauge these relationships we're in.
Yes.
Am I giving life or am I giving death? And that's through our behavior. That's the
Absolutely.
definition, is how we relate.
Mm-hmm.
So when you leave me or in my presence, am I springing you up? Am I empowering you? Am I
Absolutely.
motivating you? Yes. Or am I tearing you down? Am I feeling torn down just by being related to you, next to you? Oh, oh,
Wow. That makes me think about how when I'm with my clients and they listen, okay. I mean, just what you're saying. I remember one time before on the show when I was saying I was speaking with my clients because it seemed like people were really um struggling in this area when it came to relationships, especially in the cutoff era, if you will. And I was like, it's okay to be in a relationship with people, but remember, I think if y'all remember, I said, place them in a category, 1, 2, or 3.
Mm-hmm.
1 is the closest. That's the ones that's to your heart. If y'all miss it, go back to the first year.
Yeah.
No, we did this, but and I think sometimes people just automatically think that people are supposed to be in connection.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes me back to what we've even heard in the church. People are in your life for a reason, season, or lifetime.
Absolutely.
So when you mention gauge, for myself, and going back to the last episode, y'all might want to go watch that. I had to ask myself, when I'm in the presence of someone else, it doesn't matter who it is. When I leave their presence or they leave my presence, how do I feel?
oh, yeah.
That's how I gauge.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm like, oh my God, I had such an amazing iron sharpeneth iron conversation with them, I cannot wait to be in their presence again because of that connectedness. Most people will say who are oh my God, I was about to say of God, but we're not gonna go there. Well, when we had a conversation off camera, we too. I'm not saying Larisha might have to break that down for us because that was good. But we automatically think, like I said, that we are supposed to be connected. But I'm like, but then when you are speaking with somebody within the first few minutes, especially if you are really walking in your God-given gift, let me say it like that, you could tell, this some look, which some about them, and you tell them with your eyes, some about them ain't right.
Absolutely.
I got to get away from them. Or if they touch you and your shoulder like this, like you dodging them like to put back to swing. I'm just saying. Anyway, that is a good way to gauge, and I don't think a lot of people take that into consideration.
I know.
They just continue, and some will even say, "Oh, I'm not gonna say anybody here. Oh, Keith, excuse me if your name is Keith. I ain't talking about you. Keith is my assignment. That's who I'm called to be connected to."
Mm-hmm. So,
And then you wonder why it don't work.
absolutely.
We're gonna talk about dating and relationships, but keep on.
No, but that's good though. And
I'm like, wish I just died. I'm back.
No, you're absolutely right, Shannon. I like the way that you use the analogy with gauge. And isn't it funny that sometimes when it comes to relationships, we pay attention to gauges when we want to. When we get in the car, if the gauge says, "Hey, you're getting low on gas," what do? We stop and get the gas. If the check engine light comes on, we're like, "Oh, I need to get this check." We need to do the same thing when it comes to relationships. When we see that warning is a reason why the gauge is going off or getting high or whatever the case may be. Now, with that, the importance of relationships. I'm going to go on just a little bit of a tangent, and I'm going to have to use my spouse with this.
Oh Lord.
It's not going to be done bad. The importance of relationship covers so many things. It's almost like an army regulation that it's going to cover A to Z to tell you what you have to do, what you should avoid, how something should be done, how you switch stuff over. So in the beginning, in the Bible, it said it was good that man should not be alone. So right there, that tells us the importance of relationships is that we have to have a connection. We have to have a mate of some sort, right? In that emotional connection, it establishes individuals to be able to show emotion and feel emotion. So now that I'm a man and I need to express to my wife that I'm angry. It's not that I may not be angry at her, but now she knows what I'm going through. She can understand. So that's where that importance of communication comes in at. And we're going to see that the more we get into all these things I'm going to talk about, it's all to keep the relationship wheel spinning so it doesn't stop. And we know when it stops, it's either breakup, divorces, and things of that nature. Let's talk about personal growth. You were talking about that in the beginning. My wife may push me, and she did. Kenya, you've been an E5 for a while. When you go start trying to get that 6, you need to try to go to college. You need to do this. You need to do that. And it's not that she didn't want me to do that just to say I did it. It was for personal growth because we had an assignment. We had to go somewhere. If I hadn't started there, I couldn't get here to where I needed to be. So you got to have that personal growth. We understand that from Adam and Eve, it was about companionship. Everything else in the field had a mate, but Adam didn't. Relationships provide that companionship that leads to love, that leads to trust, that should lead to some type of commitment. And there, I have to get off the bus and stop right here. When it comes to relationships, that's where a lot of stuff really gets messed up, is because of the commitment. I love you. I want to be with you, but I've been dating you for 8 years and I ain't put a ring on your finger yet.
My God, today. Glory.
And
Stepping on toes.
because there's no commitment, then there's no relationship. Right? The other thing.
Hold on.
No, go ahead.
Oh, it's just like, hey, we're going down so much meat. We trying to chew off of here.
Repeat that last statement.
Basically, because individuals won't commit, you can't have a good relationship. And think about it. If you're all, if everybody here is married, if your husband or your spouse, your wife never committed, would you really be in this relationship right now?
And sometimes they commit and don't commit.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I'm about to, y'all got to excuse myself.
No, you're right.
That's why it's mental,
Yes.
it's emotional, and it's physical.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
At what level are you truly committed? I feel like that's a whole nother show.
It is.
Like, commitment, fear of, because people have a fear of commitment.
Right.
And it goes back to, if I'm not mistaken, Rachel may have been saying, or you were saying, what do I get out of this? So as long as I'm getting something good, I'm committed. But the minute something goes bad,
Conditional.
yes, you're out.
You require something of me, then I'm out. Because now you pushing me and you being too hard.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's cut through pause, yeah.
Just like out the gate on them. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So pause and think about this. Am I committed? You said mentally,
Emotionally and physically.
Spiritually too.
Yes.
to yourself
And
and your partner.
absolutely.
Am I committed?
Mm.
What does that break these down for them, y'all? What does physical look like? What does mental look like? What do emotional look like? And spiritual.
Physically can be, am I physically committed to an individual that I'm going to take care of myself,
Come on.
health-wise?
Come on.
That can be a physical.
Yeah.
Am I going to take care of you and look out for your well-being as well from a physical standpoint? Am I going to help build you up in areas that you may be weak in? That physical standpoint is also about building, in a sense, it can be physical, it can be spiritual, resilience. If I see that you were trying to do something and you did not get to that mark, can I build you up to help get you there? Because we're supposed to be each other's helpmate.
And will you allow me to help you?
Oh, yes.
That's a whole other thing.
Listen, that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother one.
And see, so you just said physical. Mental, what I think about is what we were even though it kind of ties with the emotional piece, but the intelligence.
Yeah.
Mentally, am I willing to go in any relationship to the depths with you mentally? That could be in a friendship, because think about, for example, to kind of make it make sense. Okay, so say I don't have any schooling. I have the School of Hard Knocks.
Yes.
But she has schooling as a counselor. How many relationships, friendship-wise, have you seen where one feel like they one up the other?
Absolutely.
But because I feel like I'm high, no, she don't feel like this, but because she feel like she's higher than me,
Mm-hmm.
I got to stay connected to validate something that's invalidated within her.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, let's preach on the day.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
so the mental piece of it, I think when it comes to we had to learn it. So I'll say for me,
Mhm.
let's just give this for he and I, if y'all don't mind, just for a second.
Okay.
But it would be fair to say we had some type of mental cognition in our connection because think about when you first start dating.
Mhm.
See, they don't do this no more. So let's talk to the youngs, okay? And how you would stay on the phone all night. And you would have those deep conversations. You would connect on a mental level. I could tell him things, he could tell me things. And then we get to a level in our relationship where we're running after everything else and not prioritizing us, that we are no longer connecting at a deeper level mentally.
Ooh.
So then he goes and gets some education, and I go and get this high-paying 6-figure job, and then our marriage is looking like this, going in different directions, and we are not checking in, doing a, what did we call in the military, a AAR, after action review. How am I doing? We used to do that, but life got busy. And my question was, as your wife, what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
What would you like for me to do? Am I doing okay as your wife? This one, we was both in the military. And then, kids and life, do y'all connect like that?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's mental. Now, who got the emotional? Come on,
All right,
emotional.
then.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Educate them.
So I'm just real simple. Just real simple. It's about validation.
If you don't,
If there is no validation in the emotions,
Wow.
mm.
I don't even know what else to say.
you don't have to because it's there.
What does it look like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, when you say what does it look like,
Yeah.
break that
What
down
does
for the people. What do you mean?
So the validation looks like I just lost my dad,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not really,
Yeah.
but years ago. So I just lost my dad. And so I'm struggling with potentially my identity.
Mm.
I'm struggling with just the great loss because he was a safe space. You know what I mean? For me, my husband, my spouse, my partner, whomever, can validate me by coming alongside me and meeting me right where I am.
Ooh.
Hey, babe, I know that you're hurting right now. What can I do?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? To support you. What can I do to ease the pain? I might need a hug. I might need the physical. But the emotional piece looks like him sitting with me in the sadness, sitting with me in the grief, not staying there, not staying there, but sitting in a thing versus, oh, babe,
You'll be all right.
You'll be all
Yeah.
right.
Over.
Or you got this. You know what I mean?
What our parents
Yeah, validation.
is that your partner would then have to be in tune
Yes.
with you
Mhm.
in order to know what is needed in that
Yes.
moment to be able to validate you
Mhm.
in that moment. But when he's not or he or she is not in tune, they miss those emotional cues.
Yeah.
Ooh. And you know what you have to do when it comes to that? We have to understand that connectedness that we want with an individual. You got to have the same structure.
That's good.
Yeah, 2 cars. One's the battery is dead. You use another car with a similar battery to jump that one off. You got to have some of the same structure. And I think in a lot of relationships, we're trying to jumpstart somebody's battery that's completely dead.
Okay.
Y'all, this show
Yeah.
about to be over, and we ain't even 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
You
I just take a drink of water.
No.
Excuse me.
So, go ahead. No, you reiterate what he said, because I'm with you.
Just reiterate what you just said.
What?
Yeah. See, the way cars are designed, the battery is providing some power. But it's really that alternator that is generating everything through the system. So when you are jumping somebody else off, we've always been taught to keep both cars running. Not really what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to connect the parts up. One car is running. You're going to turn the one with the good battery off, and then the other one that needs it, you turn that on. Otherwise than that, you stand the chance of messing up the electrical system in the other car.
Wow.
So that's why I say we're busy trying to jumpstart other people's batteries and they're totally dead. But then sometimes it's going to drain us, and now we're both in the same
Come
spot.
on, drain. Come on. I need to go bring you back because, oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. So in a sense, that leads into another area. Sometimes we have a relationship with someone. We've been trying to jump them. We see that stuff is dead.
Wow.
But that's where it comes down. Within relationships, we need forgiveness. It's grace and mercy because nobody is perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. How do we recover from that? That's how you build resilience together in a relationship, is understanding I'm not perfect. You're not perfect either, but together we can make this thing rise.
I know, girl, go ahead.
I got another burning question. And this can apply to family, friendship, marriages. It can apply in all facets of that. How you're saying that a person, can be drained and, jump people off. I hear compatibility. I hear that. But what happens in a situation, and as we're talking about the importance of relationships, where people are remaining in relationships that are toxic? So that's the draining piece that I hear. And so what they're doing is, like most people are doing now, let me speak to y'all, because somebody may be guilty, because I know we did it with time or two, even in our marriage, is we paint it like it's perfect, but it's dead on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and the reason why I bring that up is we're talking about importance of relationships. What I find, those who go to counseling and they have made that commitment to work together to make it better. And some will go to counseling, they really ain't committed. They just doing it because they got threatened by their spouse, and that don't ever work. We know that. However, people, I guess what I'm saying is more vested nowadays than painting the picture that it looks good.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And while suffering on the inside and being drained. So
okay. Ooh, we talking about car batteries draining. Yes, the relationships being drained, and y'all are absolutely right. I got an analogy, and this two of y'all too. So just go with me. Go with me on
okay.
that. So I'm looking at relationships as like a plant. Plant needs water, it needs light, it needs care,
Good.
to keep going. Relationships need that too.
Right.
You have to cultivate, right? You got to cultivate, you got to build, you got to give it what it needs. It helps to build a healthy, lasting connection, right?
Right.
So I've written this down to think about your relationship as a garden, but I want y'all to think about this. When I talked to you, we had that conversation coming down here about a car. We're talking about cars. And I was talking to my husband, and I gave this analogy about, because he loved cars, we love cars. When you go buy a brand new car off the lot, and that car is running great, like it cranks up, it does all of the things, it is smooth sailing. You like, oh my God, I still got the new car smell. Everything is great in there. But you keep driving. You get in and it starts up, you good. As long as it's starting up, you good. But you don't do anything to maintain it. You don't get the oil change. You don't check the transmission. You don't make sure the battery is changed. You don't do any of those things. And before long, the car starts to act up. The car is no longer starting when you want it to start. The car is, if you got to get a jump or something like that, it's not operating at its optimal place where it was when you first bought it. But then you got to think about it. If you didn't maintain it, how are you expecting it to still operate at that optimal level?
Relationships.
You have to maintain in order for the car to keep running. Now, granted, it's going to get older, but just because it gets older doesn't mean it has to run horribly.
Right. Come on.
If you continue to maintain and do the things that you're supposed to do to keep the car up, the car will treat you great. The car will run. It will start every single day. Think about that in relationships. People get into new relationships and they don't maintain it.
There you go.
They don't put the care and things that they need to put into it and expect it to still run like it did when you first started it.
Somebody get the collection plate.
Please.
Oh, the doors of the church are now open.
Come on.
It can't happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So pause. Take a minute, and I'm pretty sure most of y'all are out there driving. You have a car. You know that you have to do the maintenance on your car to keep it running the way that it needs to run so it can get you where it needs to go or get you where you need to go. Why won't you do the same for your relationship? Do the same for your relationship. You can't get mad at that woman or that man who is not operating at optimal peak anymore because you didn't maintain. You didn't maintain.
That's the optimal peak for me.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck in that part.
I'm serious.
And it's true.
Yeah.
That is so true. And you know what? It makes me think about a lease mentality.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come on now.
oh,
Because I like the effect of a newness. It just came in hot off the presses.
Everything's getting used.
But a lease mentality, because as you were speaking, what I was thinking about is classic. If you maintain it, it's gonna become a classic. Think about some of the cars. Excuse me, y'all started, but we need to make it make sense. Okay, somebody asked a question. Would you rather have this new I'm just gonna say like this new 2024 Ford Mustang, or would you have like a 67? You know what I'm saying? Was sitting on some Kragers. You know what I'm saying? Come on, somebody, because see the 67, you drive that 2024, somebody scratch it. They told me.
Yeah.
Baby, when it came to that 67 Classic sitting on them Kragers with the pipes, you can run into a whole building. It won't even dent. But as long as you keep up the maintenance of the relationship, and this is the key that I'm hearing even in the last episode and this one, it's going to take two to maintain.
Yes.
Friendship, marriage, business partners, it's going to take two. And that's what I think a lot of the issue is as to why relationships, people don't deem them as important. Going back to the point of what we said in the beginning.
I want to go back and tie in the whole transactional because we were talking about it sounded kind of transactional. But if you think about it in the sense of the car, if you take care of it, if you maintain it, it's going to give something back to you.
Absolutely.
But you got to give something into it.
Yeah.
So while it might seem like there's a give and take, it is a give and take.
It's necessary.
It's a necessary give and take. So if I don't do this, I can't expect it to do that.
Absolutely.
That's good.
And another part to what both of you guys were saying is it's necessary to have conflict resolution with any relationships. Nothing's going to be perfect. And that's where it comes in with you being aware of yourself, being aware of that other individual, of when you can get together to potentially work something out. And if you can't, that's that time to call us in.
Right.
So that we can learn how to navigate those issues more effectively. I'll kind of put it like this. Shan was kind of alluding to, if I'm not mistaken, talking about trust to a point.
Yeah.
I've been through different skills training where we would be up on a platform 10, 15 feet off the ground, and you just have to fall and trust that the people that are down there are going to catch you. You got to have trust in your relationships to that, something like that, but you got to build that trust up. And there are some individuals that run around out there, and I'm not trying to knock anybody. I understand you've been hurt. There's been things that's been said and done, and you have to try to build yourself up from that. But we will get in a car. We ain't checked it out. We'll hit that switch to turn. We trust that it's going to turn on. How many of y'all get on an airplane and walk up to the pilot and go, hey, did you do all the maintenance? Or do you trust that you go get from Dallas to San Francisco or wherever you're going? You've got trust in that. So you got to have that same type of trust in your relationship. You got to build that because we'll put trust in everything else, but not in the things that we're doing and working with that person to build that relationship. It's just like going to church. Pastor's turning your Bibles and he started reading stuff. And nowadays people just sit there, no, I'm going to need to turn it because that ain't what my chapter and verse said. You got to check it out for yourself.
Right.
You have to learn who you can trust and who you can't. And that leads to the connections that we talk about. Now, Shan was asking that question, why don't we have these relationships and stuff today? I'm going to think of two things. One of them is going to be trust. The other one with the connection is you got to know what you're supposed to be connected to. Ladies, I'm just going to use y'all for example. Y'all like to shop, don't you? How many of y'all buy clothes? How many of y'all buy clothes that are too big for y'all?
No, you wasting money.
Why?
Because I ain't gonna be
It's
able
not
to
gonna
wear
look
'em.
right either.
And it don't do what?
Fit.
It don't. There you go. I'm just gonna stop right there. Sometimes what we're doing is we're trying to make relationships for stuff that don't fit. So
Okay.
you go to
All
you
right.
go to the you go and we have to move to get to that spot where a relationship does for us. If you go to the gas station,
Wait a minute, sir.
Yeah.
You be doing that
All
all
these
the
things and don't even let us
Wait
claim
to get to the spot.
Wait a minute.
Mm.
So the whole of the fit.
Yeah.
We won't buy big clothes and put on because they don't fit.
Right.
But we'll try to fit somebody into our life
relationship.
That ain't supposed to be there.
it's supposed to be there. It don't look right. It don't feel right. It don't compliment you. It don't do any of this thing.
All the stuff
Come
that I just
on.
talked about.
So, wait a minute. Hold on. Pause for the people. Say that again.
It brings death.
Yes. Mm.
No life is being produced after relationship, but yet
Life.
we trying to make it fit.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to make that fit.
Ooh.
Mm.
It just hit me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like we said in the country.
Breathe.
We are trying to
Stop.
make
Breathe. Pause.
baby, ain't nobody ready for this level of truth in this show. Oh,
I'm trying to tell you.
Can we just take a minute? Oh, Jesus. What?
Got me
Yes.
rocking in my chair.
Thank
We
you.
trying to make death fit.
Mm.
Girl, the way that just hit my
hurts.
spirit.
I'm sitting over here shaking just a little bit.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. It's very basic.
Wait, why would I
Basic.
want to make death fit? Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm stuck
Yeah, we
there
gotta
for
sit
a
in that.
second. I am seriously like my heart just started to palpitate.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
Lord, help me understand what that was just about because
Yeah.
we are trying to make death fit.
Mhm.
Why when he came to give life,
Mhm.
why?
That's right.
Abundant life.
Mhm.
But we're trying to make something that's lifeless, that has nothing. There's no growth. There's no nothing. There's nothing.
That was just my head.
Listen, people try to be the savior.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on,
you
save me.
bring resurrection to relationships that really should be.
Die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait.
we
don't
get
know-
upset. Right. We get upset
That's it.
that we're not growing because we continue to surround ourselves with that.
Not to get up out this.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to tell you. How many people plant a garden in the desert?
Oh.
You was just there. You see that, didn't
I was out there. I didn't see anything green.
Mm.
Let me just tell you that. I didn't
Mm.
see anything green.
Yeah. So sometimes, we have to apply certain things in our lives to our relationships. And it's not that it's a bad thing. We're trying to find what works and what fits for us. If I go in the bathroom, I need a stall. If someone's in that stall, it's not usable. I have to go to the next stall and the next stall. And what we did in life is we said to people trying to find their relationship, oh, they are just blanking around. They just doing this. They're trying to find their fit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that you do certain things in the midst of you looking, but sometimes you go to the car lot. You may have one specific car in mind. If that car is not available, you find out something bad about it. What do? You go to the next car. You're finding my favorite color is dark blue. I want dark blue. Well, we don't really have that. They don't make that color.
But then what happens when, because you're trying to find what fits with you,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know who you are, so you can't find a fit. You go, so relationship to relationship to relationship, you're trying to feel and see who you connect with, but you're not going to have that connection if you don't know who you are.
Go ahead.
Come on,
I
church
know what
ladies,
she's
come
about
on.
to say.
Come on, ladies.
Y'all know.
I know what she's about.
They settle.
I was just about to say that. And then get mad at you see people, those who settle get upset with the ones that they see that's thriving or at least attempting to thrive.
Yeah.
Y'all about to cry for, I don't even know who.
God,
listen.
come on.
I just feel like to go surrender.
Yes. Oh my God.
But
Lord, I surrender.
you made such an awesome point. It goes back to our last episode.
Yeah.
I can't sit up and get mad Okay. So let me just put myself out there because that's something that I do to, not to say I'm busy, just be relatable. I can't get upset. And I had to learn this. So some of you all know, some do not. I have a son. He had a daughter before we came to our marriage. I used to be so upset at the biological, I don't know what the kids call it nowadays, but the biological father of our oldest son. I know that confused some of y'all, but you'll catch it
The
later.
baby daddy.
The baby daddy. They call it the donor. That's what they call it. The young kids, they call it the donor. And I used to get so upset. But to your point, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my worth. I didn't know, why didn't this work out? It wasn't even a relationship to begin with. Okay. However, moving forward, and me and my husband, that's a whole nother, we done worked through some things in this almost 26 years. So, worked through a lot of things. To y'all's point about fit. Now, has it been easy? It has not. But we both had to figure out who we were. I had to allow him time to figure out who he was, in the first few years. And then me too, in the first few years. We ain't saying, y'all saying I'll go to wait 26 years. That is not what I'm saying. So that is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is he was the fit when I was trying to make the donor fit. And then had the nerve enough to get upset. And not only was he the fit, he told me, and this a preach for somebody out there that's going through this right now, stop going to him, asking him for anything. This is my son. Period. I couldn't do nothing but sit there and shut up. Because what else can you say? So, Shan, why did you bring that up? Quit trying to fit a triangle in a circle.
Ooh, gee. And that shows y'all how connected we are. Because that was boiling up here. Because you know that little table when you were in kindergarten? You learned it back then, but you don't apply it when it. I'm gonna stop right there.
Okay, I promise. I think I might not say nothing else.
Y'all, I feel like, even though it's kind of winding down, we just got so much more that needs to be
Relationship.
This is what I'm hearing. Even with you talking, you all both begin to understand interdependent
Yes.
versus being codependent.
That's
My
right.
God.
That's
Ooh.
right.
Or
Church notes.
or independent.
Or independent. So let me break it down.
Please.
Yeah, they're gonna need that one.
So interdependence is a balanced relationship dynamic that allows both partners to rely on one another while maintaining individuality and independence. Both, and that's what you're hearing, and at least that's what I'm hearing here. You all have to grow into that, but you came to a point where you allowed each other to be who you are, but then coming together collectively.
Yeah.
When you are codependent, you have enmeshment, loss of self, or hyper independent, meaning, I am woman, hear me roar.
Then wonder why you can't find nobody. Sorry.
Oops, sorry.
That was in my spirit.
And that's what happens, because then it creates emotional distance. And then it interdependence fosters mutual support, trust, which we've been talking about, and respect. But when I am codependent, especially with the hyper independence, that just really stood out to me. I was like, hyper?
Yes.
You just really, and I got this. I don't need nobody.
Right.
I don't need a man for nothing.
I don't need you. I got this. Listen here, have said it quite a few times. If I ain't said it to him, I didn't thought it. Fact.
I said it.
I said it.
I don't
Real
need
bad.
you. I got this. Or going through my checklist, girl, you can do this. What you need him for?
And then
Because we need relationships.
yes,
We need
that's
commitment.
amazing. Come on, life.
We need life.
Yes.
And not death.
That's right.
Oh my
This
God.
is a good show.
Listen here. Listen here. So this is what I want to encourage people to do, is to reflect on whether you tend to lean too heavily on your partner for emotional validation. We talked about validating.
Right.
Or do you avoid relying on them entirely to protect your independence? Your independence.
Girl. Just we pausing
This
now.
this is the first step towards
Mhm.
balance, interdependence.
Mhm.
Do I need to repeat that?
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
reflect on whether you tend to lean too heavily on your partner for emotional validation, or you avoid relying on them entirely to protect your independence.
Mm.
That's a heavy one.
Yeah.
We literally sitting in this.
Yeah. Because that last one she just said really kind of covers all that stuff that I had that we talked about. You can't get to all that when you're not giving your part in. And the thing about it is everybody's always been told, well, if you put 50% in your relationship, that person put 50% in, it'll work out.
No.
No, that don't
No.
work. What you're looking for is somewhat of a balance where both people get something from it. And yes, it is kind of transactional. It may be 40-60. It may be 70-30, but at different times in the relationship, it's going to go up and down.
Right.
You have to learn to ride the curve, ride the wave in that relationship and make it as balanced as you possibly can.
But never should you ever be given 100 and they're given 0.
Come
Oh,
on.
man. You know what a pastor told me one time?
What is that?
He said, if a person ain't helping you, they hurting you.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow. Need y'all to understand that there is a balance to it. You have to have balance. Like you said, are you going to give me life or are you going to give me death?
Boy, I just,
It's thick up in here.
it is.
Is it air on?
Yeah.
It's like, woo, you know how like you just feel like your breath just got taken away and you can't breathe?
Yeah.
Ooh, it got a little warm.
Yeah.
It's just a deeper level that I think people need to go in when it comes to relationship. Because like Rachel was saying, we're thinking surface level. And we got to go a whole lot deeper
Yeah.
in what it is. We have to understand the spiritual. Things are going on in the natural, things physical. It encounters everything. And I think if a lot of people sit back and really examine their relationships, you could figure out where the issues are at. And then go ahead, get on the internet, get on that phone, call up LMFT, licensed marriage and family therapist, call up at LPC and say, hey, we think this is going on in our relationship, and let those counselors help you navigate that path. Let them walk alongside you to get you to a spot in your relationship where it's healthier, it's wealthier, and it's more balanced.
And can't forget our licensed clinical social worker.
Yeah. Social workers too.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Brothers leave me out.
Yeah. Can't leave them out.
We can't leave them out.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me confess this right now. I'm gonna go back and watch this. Now I know I'm taking notes now, but like I done missed some things because I was thinking this is a real meaty, impactful show. How can someone not get anything out of this?
Man. I mean, you.
We are licensed professionals and we sitting up in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, yeah. I
My
mean, make you
goodness.
reflect and evaluate so many different things, where you are in life, what you need to do. Okay, mental note, you need to do X, Y, Z. And this.
Exactly.
Okay, now you got to do. Yeah, definitely making some
Yeah.
mental checks up and through here.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, y'all. So it's at that time.
Again.
Again. I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity to leave with lasting thoughts. I want to leave the people with this. While society often emphasizes either complete independence, or total dependence, especially in romantic relationships, we see that often. Interdependence offers a healthy alternative. It allows you to nurture close connections without sacrificing personal growth. Create a foundation of respect and mutual support as you're creating the interdependence within the relationships you have, especially your romantic ones. We should neither be independent or dependent. We should be balanced.
That's good. Should.
I feel like I'm about to take what Rachel said because it definitely stuck with me. And look, she said, go ahead. The gauging. The gauging. As you're doing work, the individual work on yourself as the foundation and the basis. So you will then be able to recognize the connections that you make with others. You definitely have to gauge, not just gauging the individual that you are speaking to in relationship with or attempting to connect with, but gauge yourself. How are you coming off when it comes to that person? Oftentimes we like to point the finger, but you know what they say about that and how many are pointing back at us. So keep that in mind.
Mm.
Yes.
Oof. I don't know if this is sound too harsh, but it might be, and it might be what someone needs to hear.
Let them use.
You have to ask yourself, are you going to be a wise or a foolish builder when it comes to your relationship? So like the scriptures in the Bible, if you build your house on sand, yep.
Okay.
Okay. Amos 3:3, New King James Version says, "Can two walk together unless they agree?"
Come on, Steve.
And I just want you guys to leave with by examining those key areas, the mental, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. Are we in agreement in those areas? Are we both giving life? Is one giving life? Is one giving death? We both should agree.
And I'll just say, you are built for connection.
Yes.
You are built for connection.
Oh, okay, y'all. This has been one meaty, heavy show. I don't know if y'all could feel the spirit up in here. Oh my God, it's heavy. But we want to just thank you all so much for joining us here tonight on Talk Therapy Heal. We hope that something that was said penetrates you in a way that causes you to really want to and just make a lasting change in your life. If not, rewatch it because you might have missed something.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you are not already subscribed, and hit that notification bell so that you can feel what we feel in the moments that we're feeling it.
Yes.
Have a great night. We all love you here at Talk Therapy Heal. Bye.
Bye.